Ever feel like you need a separate app for every single thing you buy online?
Yeah.
Well, get this. India is cooking up something called ONDC.
Okay.
That could change the game entirely.
Wow.
Buckle up because today's deep dive takes us straight into the future of online shopping.
We're talking about a potential world
Okay.
where you don't need to juggle a dozen different apps.
Wow.
Imagine ordering anything from groceries to gadgets all within one platform.
Okay, that has my attention. But how exactly do we get there from where we are now?
Right.
I'm looking at this ONDC Retail API contract version 1.2.0.
Okay.
Lots of tech jargon in here.
Think of this document as the rulebook, the blueprint for how businesses can plug into ONDC
Right.
and make this seamless shopping experience a reality.
Right, and this particular version dropped in June 2024. From what I gather, it's not just a minor update. There are some really significant changes.
You're right, it shows how ONDC is evolving and, more importantly, listening to feedback
Good.
from both users and businesses.
Okay, so for those of us who aren't fluent in APIs,
Sure.
give us the big picture. What is ONDC and why should we care?
ONDC stands for Open Network for Digital Commerce.
Okay.
Imagine a massive network that connects any buyer with any seller directly,
Okay.
regardless of their size or the individual app they're using.
So instead of being confined to, say, one online marketplace,
Right.
I could potentially compare prices from dozens of vendors all in one place.
Exactly. More power to you, the buyer.
Wow.
You're no longer limited by the walls of a particular platform.
That's huge. And what about the businesses themselves? I
Yeah.
imagine this could be pretty disruptive.
Absolutely. For sellers, especially smaller businesses,
Right.
ONDC has the potential to lever the playing field.
Okay.
They're no longer competing for visibility within one giant marketplace.
Right.
They have a direct line to customers.
Okay, this is all starting to make sense, but it also sounds incredibly complex. We're talking about creating an entirely new way for online shopping to work.
True, but that's where this document comes in. It might seem daunting,
Right.
but it's really about setting clear standards for how different systems communicate.
So let's break it down. Where do we even begin to unpack this whole ONDC thing?
Well, this version 1.2.0 has its roots in earlier iterations.
Okay.
Think back to late 2023. That's when ONDC really started to take shape. They rolled out version 1.1 in November of that year, and they've been refining it ever since.
It's like watching a blueprint come to life piece by piece. So how do we actually read this blueprint?
Right.
What's the key to understanding how all these systems will talk to each other?
It all boils down to attribute keys,
Okay.
and they're actually a lot simpler than they sound.
Okay.
Think of them like digital barcodes that categorize every detail of a product.
Okay.
Price, size, color, you name it.
Okay, so it's all about organizing information in a standardized way so that different systems can understand each other.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's like ensuring everyone is speaking the same language, from the moment you type something into the search bar to the moment your package arrives at your doorstep.
Got it. But there must be tons of these conversations happening behind the scenes for every single purchase, right?
You're right, and that's where API contracts come in.
Okay.
Remember the rule book we mentioned?
Right.
These contracts lay out the specific rules for each interaction.
Okay.
They define what information gets exchanged, in what format, and at what stage in the buying process.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all fits together. So if we're following the journey of an order, where does it all begin in this document?
The document actually maps out the entire transaction trail.
Okay.
It starts with the Search API. That's where your buyer app tells the ONDC network what you're looking for.
So when I punch in, say, noise-canceling headphones,
Right.
my app sends that request out to the whole ONDC network.
Not the entire network, but it's more targeted than you might think.
Okay.
That request goes out to all the sellers who've signed up to offer products in that category.
Ah, so it's not just a free-for-all of products flooding my screen.
Right.
It's already streamlining the shopping experience for me. What happens next?
That's where the OnSearch API enters the picture.
Okay.
Sellers can then respond to your request, but they're not sending their entire inventory.
Right.
Just the headphones that match what you're looking for, all perfectly formatted according to the ONDC rules.
So no more wading through pages of irrelevant products.
Right.
I'm already loving the sound of this. It seems like these API interactions are the real workhorses of the ONDC system.
You got it.
Okay.
And it doesn't stop there.
Okay.
The document meticulously details every step of the process, from the moment you select an item, that's
Yeah.
select and on select,
Okay.
all the way to those post-purchase interactions like tracking your order or even processing a return.
This is already blowing my mind, and we're just getting started. There's so much more to explore, so love to dive into the specific changes introduced in version 1.2.0 right after this. We're back and ready to dig into the nitty-gritty of ONDC's latest update.
Okay.
So what's new and noteworthy in version 1.2.0?
Well, they've made some really interesting tweaks, even down to the way we describe colors online.
Okay,
It sounds simple,
right.
but has a big impact.
You're talking about those mandatory color names alongside hex codes, right?
Yes.
As someone who can never remember what hashtag 008,000 is supposed to look like, I'm all for anything that makes online shopping more user-friendly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Before, sellers only had to provide the hex code,
Right,
that 6-character combo that computers use to define a color.
right.
But now for things like clothing, electronics, even home goods, they also need to provide the actual color name. Forest green, ruby red. You get the idea.
Okay, so it's all about making online shopping more accessible, especially for people who might be using screen readers or other assistive technologies.
Precisely. And that focus on improving the overall customer experience is a big theme in this 1.2.0 update.
Music to my ears. I mean, isn't that what we all want online shopping that's smooth, easy, and hassle-free?
Absolutely. And they've made some key improvements when it comes to those sometimes dreaded cancellations or returns.
Okay.
They've tightened up the language in the contract, making it crystal clear how these interactions should work.
I noticed that this version even links cancellations with issue management, and returns can now be linked to specific issues as well. That seems like a smart move.
It is. Before, cancellations and returns could feel like these separate, siloed processes.
Right.
Now, if you have to return a damaged item or cancel due to a delivery issue, it's all tracked and managed in one place.
So less back and forth, fewer headaches for the customer.
Right.
ONDC is really trying to bake those customer service best practices directly into their tech framework.
Exactly. And they're not stopping at just smoothing out existing features.
Okay.
This version builds upon features introduced in earlier versions.
Right.
Remember back in November 2023 when they first introduced buyer network integration with logistics?
Vaguely. Remind me what that means for the average person browsing for noise-canceling headphones.
Basically, it allows your shopping app to talk directly to the delivery company,
Okay.
giving you real-time tracking information, accurate delivery estimates, and even the ability to contact your delivery driver.
Okay, so instead of just seeing a vague out for delivery message,
Right.
I could potentially track my package down to the street corner.
Yeah.
That level of transparency is impressive.
Right.
Yeah.
And that can make a huge difference in how you feel about your overall shopping experience.
Right?
Wait, we've talked about the why behind ONDC and how this update plays into the bigger picture.
Okay.
Ready to take another step deeper into the technical weeds.
Bring it on. You've got me hooked.
Yeah.
How does ONDC actually work in practice? Walk me through it.
It all comes back to those API contracts and attribute keys.
Okay.
They're like the nuts and bolts holding the entire system together.
Right, the digital barcodes and the rule book.
Yeah.
So show me how it plays out in a real-world scenario.
Okay, let's say you're craving pizza,
It's always pizza.
of course. So you open your ONDC-enabled food app
Okay.
and search for pepperoni pizza.
Okay.
Your app uses that search API to send the request out to the network.
Okay, just like with my headphones, that request goes out to all the pizzerias that have signed up on ONDC.
Right.
Then what?
This is where that OnSearch API we talked about kicks in.
Okay.
The pizzerias respond, but they don't just send back a jumbled mess of their entire menu.
Right.
They send back pepperoni pizza options that match your search, all formatted in a way that your app can understand.
So my app knows exactly what information it's getting.
Right.
Prices, sizes, toppings.
Exactly.
No more digital gibberish.
Exactly. Your app can now display all the options in a clear, organized way.
Okay.
Now, let's say you found the pizza of your dreams
Okay.
and tap to select it. That triggers the Select API.
Okay.
Your app tells the pizzeria you're ready to get serious about this order.
So we're moving from browsing to actually putting that pizza in our virtual shopping cart.
Right.
What happens on the pizzeria's end?
Their system gets pinged with the OnSelect API request.
Oh, okay.
That's their cue to confirm a few things.
Okay.
Can they deliver to your address?
Yeah.
And is that specific pizza actually in stock?
Ah. So this is how ONDC prevents those gut-wrenching moments where you reach checkout only to find out what you wanted is sold out.
Precisely.
Uh,
They'll also send back the final price, including any delivery fees, all broken down neatly using ONDC's, quote, system. No surprises at checkout.
I'm already feeling less anxious about ordering online.
Good.
So my pizza is in stock, the price is right.
Okay.
I'm ready to check out.
Okay.
What happens next in this digital dance?
Your app uses the Init API to send your delivery details to the pizzeria.
Okay.
You can add special instructions too, like leave at the door or ring the bell twice.
Right.
Then the pizzeria confirms you're good to go using, you guessed it, OnEnt.
Okay.
They might send over their cancellation policy at this stage, just so you have it.
Transparency is key. Okay, this is it, the moment of truth.
Okay.
I'm hitting that glorious place order button.
And that triggers your app to use the Confirm API to formally place the order.
Okay.
The pizzeria gets a notification, does a final check on their end, and then boom,
Okay.
confirmation is sent back via the OnConfirm API.
Pizza is on its way. I love how these API contracts are working behind the scenes like a perfectly synchronized dance to make sure everything runs smoothly.
That's the beauty of it. When it's done right, the entire process should feel almost invisible.
All right.
But this was just a taste, a simple pizza order.
Right.
ONDC is designed to handle far more complex transactions too.
Okay, you've got to give me an example. What about when I inevitably need to upgrade my phone and want to get a customized case?
Perfect example. Let's dive into that right after a quick break.
Back to those customized phone cases.
Right.
You were about to blow my mind how ONDC handles that level of personalization.
Well, get ready,
Okay.
because this is where it gets really cool. ONDC uses something called customization groups,
Okay.
and it's exactly what it sounds like.
Lay it on me.
These groups allow sellers to define all the different options you have when customizing a product, along with a pricing for each option
Okay.
and any constraints.
Yeah. So let's say I'm on my favorite tech store's app,
Right.
but it's powered by ONDC.
Go on.
I want a new phone case.
Okay.
They've got different models to choose from, colors, maybe even the option to add an engraving.
Right.
Each of those would be a separate customization group.
That's it. You're basically building your ideal phone case piece by piece.
Right.
And just like with our pizza example, each choice you make could affect the price.
Right.
And ONDC makes sure that all of that is communicated clearly between your app and the seller's system.
No hidden fees or out-of-stock surprises at the last minute.
Right.
I like where this is going,
Yeah,
but obviously this goes way beyond just phone cases.
absolutely.
Right.
Think about ordering a customized salad. You've got your greens, your toppings, your dressings, all as separate groups. Or buying a piece of furniture where you can choose the fabric, the color of the wood,
Right.
maybe even add extra storage drawers.
Right.
ONDC can handle all of that.
So it's like they've created a universal language for customization no matter what you're shopping for.
Exactly.
ONDC is really starting to feel like the future of e-commerce.
It's incredibly innovative, and this document does a great job of showcasing that
Right.
through real-world examples,
Yes.
not just abstract concepts.
Let's hear them.
Okay?
You know, I love a good concrete example.
Okay, well, we've got to give the people what they want.
Right.
And what they want is pizza.
Of course.
The document breaks down how a pizzeria would use those customization groups we talked about
Right.
to structure their menu on ONDC.
Okay.
Crust options, sizes, toppings, it's all there.
And just like that, you've built yourself a digital pizza with the price updating in real time as you go.
Exactly.
What else have we got?
Next up,
Yeah.
let's say you need a new t-shirt.
Okay.
ONDC handles all those common variations like sizes and colors
Right.
using those same customization groups.
Okay.
This makes it incredibly easy for you to find exactly what you're looking for
Right.
and for the seller to keep their inventory organized.
Makes sense. No more scrolling through endless product pages to find the right size and color.
Right.
Everything is right there, front and center.
Right. And what about beauty products?
Yes.
We've got an example for that too.
Hit me with it.
Think about all those specific details that matter when you're browsing for something like, say, a new moisturizer. ONDC allows sellers to list things like ingredients, skin type, even specific concerns like dryness or oiliness,
Right.
all neatly organized with those trusty attribute keys.
So finding the perfect product for your needs is as easy as clicking a few buttons.
Exactly.
ONDC really has thought of everything.
A lot of thought has gone into it.
Give me one last example to really drive this home.
Let's go back to your new phone and that customized case.
Okay.
The document explains how a seller could even include optional extras, like a screen protector or a pop socket,
Right.
all as separate customization groups within the ONDC system.
Okay, you've convinced me. ONDC is like the ultimate digital shopping mall. It can handle practically anything I can think of buying online and potentially even make the experience more personalized than ever before.
It's really exciting to see how this technology is evolving. And with the changes they're making in this 1.2.0 update,
Right.
ONDC is clearly committed to creating a smoother, more accessible, and ultimately more enjoyable shopping experience for everyone.
I am sold. This has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
It has.
But before we wrap up, I've got to ask, all of this sounds amazing for shoppers,
Right,
but
yeah.
what about the potential downsides?
Right.
Could ONDC disrupt the market in a negative way?
Yeah.
Or even lead to some businesses losing out?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Whenever you have such a radical shift in how things are done, there are bound to be winners and losers.
Right.
Some experts are concerned that ONDC could end up favoring larger businesses
Right.
with the resources to adapt quickly.
And what about the impact on smaller retailers who maybe don't have the same resources?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And it's something that ONDC will need to address carefully as it grows.
Right.
The goal is to create a more level playing field.
Right.
But in reality, there's always a risk that some businesses might get left behind.
It's like any major technological leap, there are always unforeseen consequences and challenges to navigate.
Exactly. And in the case of ONDC, it all comes down to adoption.
Right.
Will enough businesses and consumers embrace this new way of shopping online for it to truly succeed?
And if it does succeed, will it kill brand loyalty?
Right.
If we can seamlessly compare prices and products from dozens of vendors, will we be less likely to stick with the brands we already know and sometimes love to hate?
That's the question that keeps me up at night.
Right.
But seriously, it's an intriguing possibility.
Yeah.
ONDC has the potential to empower consumers like never before, putting the focus squarely on choice, transparency, and value for money.
Right.
In a way, ONDC is pushing us to rethink our relationship with online shopping as we know it.
And we're here for the ride.
Yeah,
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
It has.
Thanks for joining us for this glimpse into the future of e-commerce.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, happy shopping, everyone. And may the best app, or should we say, network, win.